ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णहस्ताय पार्वतीप्रिय श्रीगिरिराजाय स्वामिने सुभक्तारासबिहारिभ्यं भक्तिभ्यश्चात्मदायिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णहस्ताय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशकारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं। Hare Krishna. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18. We are on text 22. So we just do Hare Krishna. So we just do a quick revision of what we are learning from these prayers from the residents of Jambudvip. So in the middle is which Barash? In the middle. Elaborate. And who resides there? And who else? This is the abode of Lord Shiva. Remember? This must be actually Mount Kailash, right? Hmm? So, so this is like the center, the center of the whole Jambudvip, right? So this is the Shiv Linga and the female. So it's a verse of female, right? So the prayer is about what? His prayer. Hmm? Shankarshan, praying to Shankarshan, and what's the purpose of his prayer? Hmm? Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So he is. So he appreciates. So let's just revise it so that we remember, and we don't. We should not just go blindly without remembering. Yeah. So this is about. Hmm? So this. So this. So he is saying that he is. So his prayer is about. Hmm? His prayer. So the purpose of this is that he is actually the center. Remember, right? Lord Shiva is the center of the material creation because all false ego is coming from him, right? The jiv gets covered by the linga. Linga shariri, we say, right? Everybody's got a subtle body, and that subtle body is the body of egoism. Hmm? So Lord Shiva is praying to Shankarshan, and from where is he getting that instruction? Right, from Shankarshan. Then we came first on the eastern side, which is Bharadshva. And their prayer, who's worshipped there? Yeah. So this is the center of knowledge, Bhadrashva, east. Okay. Then south was Harivarsh. And who was worshipped there? Narisingha. And what does he give us? Yeah, the processes, the 9 processes of devotional service, which was given through Prahalad Maharaj. Then we went west, right? Ketumala, all right? So Ketumala, and who's worshipped there? Kamdev. And what's the story? What's going on there? Let's continue, then we'll remember, all right? Hmm? Yeah, so what's going on in Kamadev? So this is west, meaning it's all about, it is all. Mm. So in the western side of Jambudvip, so this is all about sense gratification, right? So therefore Lakshmi Devi is saying, why are you running after sense gratification separate from Krishna, right? From Pradyumna, from Pradyumna, better you accept the Supreme Lord, Rishikesh. So now, text 22. Matpraptaye jesha sura suradayas tapyanta ugram tapa endriya dhriyaha rite bhavatpada parayanam namam bindantyaham tvad dridayayatu jita. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment. So, West is always about material enjoyment. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he's always engaged in the service of the lotus, of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but my devotee. All right? So who's actually opulent? Who's getting the favor of Lakshmi Devi? Devotees. So from where is the wealth and opulence of the material is coming? This is given. We read about this also in 4th canto. Now it's proper in the purport, speaks about it. In this way, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, clearly states that she doesn't bestow her favor on any materialistic person. All right? So if you find a devotee is opulent, then this is coming from Lakshmi Devi. Because they are devotees, right? Although sometimes a materialist becomes very opulent in the eyes of another materialist, so this materialist say, oh, he's so opulent, has so much money, right? In his eyes, right? Such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi. All right? Remember, those who worship Lord Shiva, they actually get the favor of Durga Devi. All right? Because she's the treasurer of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva doesn't keep anything. Right? He's sitting very nicely doing japa of Shankarshan. Right? The yakshas, right? The yakshas are the treasurers of Lord Shiva. So then, so the wife is giving. Right? So the wife is giving. So, actually, they say also that if you want to get some donation, go to the wife will get it from the husband.
Yeah, because whenever you are doing Lakshmi Puja, the Purohit always comes with the Shaligram. A Purohit who doesn't come with the Shaligram is not an authorized one. You cannot have Lakshmi Puja without Shaligram first. We've seen this happening in our house. Shaligram is a must. Most authentic Purohit, they have their own Shaligram which they pray at home. So they carry that first, they will do Abhishek of the Shaligram, then they will do that. So without Narayan, there is no Lakshmi anyways.
Anyway, let's hear now what's going on. Lakshmi Devi will speak the truth for everybody now. So what is she saying? So this Durga Devi is a material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by, so opulence is not given to the materialist by Lakshmi Devi herself. This is given by Durga Devi. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi with the following mantra. Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Rupapati Bhajam Dehi. O worshipable Mother Durga Devi, please give me wealth, strength, fame, a good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits. But since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukh. Maya Sukh. Illusory happiness. Like you won a lottery and it's gone, the money you win, right? It's also dilapidated in no time, right? It's illusory.
That door is closed or open, it's fine. Yeah, it's closed. Yeah. Am I expanding? No, it's not completely closed. Either close it or you open it.
Or put that stopper properly. The stopper is not.
So by pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits. But since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukh, illusory happiness. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan. Those who work very hard for material benefits are Vimudhas, foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. On the other hand, devotees like Prahlad and Dhruva Maharaj achieve extraordinary material opulences, but such opulences were not Maya Sukh. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune who resides in the heart of Narayan. The material opulences a person obtains by offering prayers to the goddess Durga are temporary. Meaning that they get it suddenly, they become number one, and then suddenly they crash. As described in Bhagavad Gita 7.23, antavatu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasam. Men of meager intelligence desire temporary happiness. We have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master. And the spiritual master, being merciful towards him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who doesn't want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. So Prabhupada is giving this example of his own god brother. Now this is a spiritual organization, right? So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he built a huge marble palace, donation came, so they built this huge marble palace. And then everybody wanted to control it, right? So when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta here saw this, and the spiritual master, being merciful towards him, gave him the temporary properties it take. Right? You want to be whatever president, this, that, take. But then he didn't have potency to preach. All right? He didn't have potency to preach. No? So Prabhupada did it, right? Prabhupada had nothing. So it's not the property that matters, it's the power to preach. Right? This is the real mercy. Right? This is the real opulence. The story of the demon Ravana illustrates this point. Although Ravan tried to abduct the goddess of fortune, Sita Devi, from the custody of Lord Ramachandra, so by force, right? By force he grabbed Lakshmi Devi. He could not possibly do so. The Sita Devi he forcibly took with him was not the original Sita, but an expansion of Maya or Durga Devi. As a result, instead of winning the favor of the real goddess of fortune, Ravan and his whole family were vanquished by the power of Durga Devi. All right, this is what Prabhupada is saying. Remember Ramchandra's stop at Rameshwaram? Right, he took the power. So he took the Shakti of Durga Devi and he marched off to Lanka.
First he, yes.
Right?
Yeah, he invoked.
Right? So he got so meaning what he was doing actually, because actually Ravan has kept in his kingdom Durga Devi. She hasn't kept Lakshmi Devi. Right? He was stealing Lakshmi Devi from Ramachandra, but he didn't know that he has kept actually Durga Devi. And this Durga Devi is Shristi Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shaktir Eka, very dangerous power, an extremely dangerous power that Ravan has got. Right? So like this with the materialists, they believe they're having Lakshmi. Right? But it's not Lakshmi that's coming to them, it is Durga. All right? And this Durga is very tricky and very dangerous. Right? Extremely dangerous. So what she's doing without your knowledge, they are finishing you off. Shristi Sthiti Pralay Sadhana Shakti Reka. Text 23. Sattvam mamapyachutashrishnivanditam karambujam yat tvadadhai sadvatam bibharshi mam lakshmavarenyamaya ka ishwaresyehitam uhitam vibhuriti. O ineffable one, your lotus palm is the source of all benediction. Therefore, your pure devotees worship it, and you very mercifully place your hand on their heads, right? Everybody wants to have Lord Narayan's lotus palm on their heads, the benediction. I wish that you may also place your hand on my head. Lakshmi Devi saying, put your hand on my head. For although you already bear my insignia of golden streaks on your chest, was that Lakshma? I regard this honor as merely a kind of false prestige for me, Lakshmi Devi is sitting on the chest of Narayan. So, who's there on his chest? Right, it is Lakshmi. So this is a very prestigious place. But he said, no, I want you to place your hand on my head. You show your real mercy to your devotees, not to me. All right? Of course, you're the supreme absolute controller, and none can understand your motives. So how you deal with everyone, nobody understands. But let's read this purport. In many places, the Shastra describes the Supreme Person of Godhead as being more inclined towards his devotee than towards his wife, who always remains on his chest. Can you give me an example? The Lord is more inclined towards his devotee than towards Lakshmi Devi. Can you give me an example? Famous. Prahlad, yes. Right, Prahlad. So Nrsimhadev, he was so angry, it's like the momentum of anger doesn't cool down immediately, right? So all the devas were running away. Then they told Lakshmi Devi, is your husband, pacify him. And Lakshmi Devi said, I have never seen this form of my husband. I don't even know whether this is my husband, right? So then say, Prahlad, all this hangama is happening because of you. Please, you go. Go and pacify Nrsimhadev. So this is what Lakshmi Devi is saying, send the child. So the devotee is favorite. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.14.15 it is stated, Natatha me priyatama atma yoni na shankaraha nacha sankarshanu na shri naivatma cha yatha bhavan. Here Krishna plainly says that his devotees are more dear to him than Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Shankarshan, the original cause of creation, the goddess of fortune, or even his own self. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.20, Shukdev Goswami says. So just see now, this is all etiquette. All right? There's so much etiquette in all this. Lakshmi Devi is saying, you love your devotees more than me. Right? This is Vaikuntha. Right? It's in the material world. This is Vaikuntha. And she's happy about it. You love your devotees more than me. Otherwise, what will happen in the household? You love him more than me. Right? So, Lord Krishna is saying in Srimad Bhagavatam, plainly, he says plainly, all right, that his devotees are more dear to him than Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, because this poor Lord Brahma, he had a desire to create, remember? What is he doing in this material world? Right? He had a desire to create, so Lord Narayan said, take, this is your work. All right? Then Lord Shiva, he's a mixture. Right? He's a transformation of Lord Vishnu for destruction. All right, so he also has some work in this material world, right? Then Shankarshan, he is Vishnu himself. Krishna is saying the devotee is more dear to him than even his own self. Is Shankarshan. What is Shankarshan doing here? Because of us, material world, right? So he has some business here. Where are the devotees? The devotee is looking outward. Right? Krishna ki or. Right? The devotee is thinking, when can I come out? And Lord Brahma, Shiva, Shankar is busy in this material world, right, doing their work in this material world. Where are the devotees thinking, how can I go back to my original Krishna? Therefore, the devotee is most dear to Krishna. Understood? Right? Because where are you looking? Right? The demon is looking behind, right? External. Whereas the devotee is looking towards the abode of Vishnu, and he wants to go back there. We have read all this, whatever I'm saying, we have read all this in the previous cantos. So Krishna is saying that this devotee is more dear to me than even the goddess of fortune and his own self. Right? Like parents, they love their children more than their own self. Right? They sacrifice so much for that one child. Right? So, meaning they have more affection for the child. So, Krishna is having more affection for his bhakta than his own self. Right? This is called selfless. So, Shukdev Goswami said, Nemam virincho na bhavo na shrirapyanga samshraya prasadam lebhire gopi yattat prapa vimuktidahat. The Supreme Lord, who can award liberation to anyone, showed more mercy toward the gopis than to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, even the goddess of fortune, who is his own wife and is associated with his body. Remember where she's sitting? On his own body. Who can be closer than this? Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam 10.47-60 also states, Nayam Shriyonga Unitnantarat. No, it's not the wrong meter. Nayam Shriyonga Unitantarate Prasadaha Swaryo Shitam Nalina Gandharucham Kutonyah Rasotsavesya Bhujadanda Grihita Kantha Labdha Shisham Yaugad Udagad Rajasundarinam. The gopis receive benediction from the Lord that neither Lakshmi Devi nor the most beautiful dancers in the heavenly planets could attain. In the Rasadan, the Lord showed his favor to the most fortunate gopis by placing his arms on their shoulders and dancing with each of them individually. Okay, they didn't have to share one Krishna. As many gopis, that many Krishna. So it's a good thing, right? No one can compare with the gopis who receive the causeless mercy of the Lord. So, yeah, so the gopis, they are so fortunate. Why they have become fortunate?
Because they have the cosmos mercy.
Why? Why they become fortunate? The cause of their good fortune is what? Their love, right? Their love. The love for Krishna. So, they have become most fortunate. So they receive benediction from the Lord that neither Lakshmi Devi nor the Apsaras, nor the Apsaras received. So in the Rasa dance, so Krishna multiplied himself individually, right? So that's their good fortune. That's their good fortune. That Krishna stayed with them, but he didn't make them wait for their turn. So here, what did he do? So he placed his arms on their shoulders and dancing with each of them individually. No one can compare with the gopis who receive the causeless mercy of the Lord. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that no one can receive the real favor of the Supreme Person of Godhead without following in the footsteps of the gopis. So if you want to become fortunate, what should we do? And what's, do you know how do you follow in the footsteps of the goddess of fortune? All the Brahman Dikshit should be able to tell me this. Naham Vipro Nacha Narapitir. You're reciting this prayer every day, right? You don't recite? You don't do puja at home? So you must follow the deity worship course. If you don't know what is the system, right? You cannot enter into the deity room or touch your deities unless and until you recite these prayers. You're not allowed. I'm not going to speak. You come and follow the deity worship course. Right? I mean, this is ABC. Right? So you find out how to worship, how to follow in the footsteps. All right? And next week you tell me. As Bhakti Shuri Swami, right? He is sitting for the yagya to give diksha. I'm ashamed to say it, right? And then say, okay, now let's tell the 10 offenses. Right? Tell the 10 offenses. Now, if we are Brahman Dikshit, we don't know this basic prayer. You are not allowed to touch your deity unless you recite that verse. Sorry? I'm not saying offenses. I'm speaking about that verse which describes Gopi Bharatu Padakamalayo Das Das Anudas. What is the beginning, middle, and end? What is the qualification, right? What is it saying? Google it. We won't move because here we are gopis and we are Brahman Dikshit, right? Oh my God. Naham Vipro Nacha Narapati Na Vaishuna Shudra Na Vanir. What? I'm not qualification to be. It is beyond. It is going beyond Brahman Dikshit. Oh my God, this is... Okay, so how do you do deity worship? What is the first mantra you recite before you do deity worship?
I thought recite starts with Brahma Samhita and all that.
Okay, I think we don't know how to do deity worship, huh?
While doing puja, I recite Brahma Samhita.
So why do we put up posters? Why is it that pujaris are taking so much trouble to train the devotees?
Because I am not Gopal.
So what? He's not Krishna?
He's Krishna.
So?
But
Okay, let's continue. You find out what is it, how to... So Prabhupada is saying that no one can receive the real favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without following in the footsteps of the gopis. All right? So what's the qualification? What is that following the footstep of the gopis? Gopi Bharatu Padakamalayor Das Das Anudas. All right. Even the goddess of fortune could not receive the same favor as the gopis, although she underwent severe austerities and penances for many years. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussed this point with Vyankata Bhatt in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 9.111 to 131, 20 verses. The Lord inquired from Vyankata Bhatt, your worshipable goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, always remains on the chest of Narayan, and she is certainly the most chaste woman in the creation. However, my Lord is Lord Shri Krishna, a cowherd boy engaged in tending cows. Why is it that your Lakshmi, being such a chaste wife, wants to associate with my Lord? Just to associate with Krishna, Lakshmi abandoned all transcendental happiness in Vaikuntha, and for a long time accepted vows and regulative principles and performed unlimited austerities. So in Vrindavan, there's this place where Lakshmi Devi is sitting and doing tapasya to enter the rasa dance. Even Lord Shiva managed to get in, right? Lakshmi Devi is still sitting there. I had sent you some time back a series of lectures by Giriraj Swami, Nectar of Devotion. Have you listened to that? Those lectures? See, if you don't know Nectar of Devotion, you won't be able to relate. So I can't teach everything, right? It's not possible. So you have to study. I'm only reading one purport. All this because I cannot tell you what Giriraj Swami spoke about this. So you go and find out. Right? Listen to, because all this is discussed. This is about all this, everything. So I'm not going to tell you, so you find out. Vyankata Bhatt replied, Lord Krishna and Lord Narayan are one and the same. But the pastimes of Krishna are more relishable due to their sportive nature. They are very pleasing for Krishna's Shaktis. Since Krishna and Narayan are both the same personality, Lakshmi's association with Krishna didn't break her vow of chastity. Rather, it was in great fun that the goddess of fortune wanted to associate with Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna. The goddess of fortune considered that her vow of chastity would not be damaged by her relationship with Krishna. Rather, by associating with Krishna, she could enjoy the benefit of the rasa dance. If she wanted to enjoy herself with Krishna, what fault is there? Why are you joking so about this? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I know there is no fault in the goddess of fortune, but still she could not enter into the rasa dance. We hear this from revealed scripture. The authorities of Vedic knowledge met Lord Ramachandra in Dandakaranya, and by the penances and austerity they were allowed to enter into the rasa dance. But can you tell me why the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, couldn't get that opportunity? Even the Muni, the Municharis, they entered the rasa dance and dance with Krishna, but your Lakshmi Devi couldn't get in. What's the problem? All right. So question that you have to find out by hearing the lectures on Nectar of Devotion by Giriraj Swami. It's available on his website. It's also available on vihe.org. All right, Nectar of Devotion. If you don't study Nectar of Devotion, you can't study Bhagavatam. So, to this Vyankata Bhadrava, I cannot enter into the mystery of this incident. I'm an ordinary living being. My intelligence is limited. And I'm always disturbed. How can I understand the pasam of the Supreme Lord? They are deeper than millions of oceans. What's going on among them? How can I know? A small jeev, how can I know what's going on? Lord Chaitanya replied, Lord Krishna has a specific characteristic. He attracts everyone's heart by the mellow of his personal conjugal love. By following in the footsteps of the inhabitants of the planet known as Vrajalok or Golok Vrindavan, one can attain the shelter of the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. However, the inhabitants of that planet do not know that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead, unaware that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. The residents of Vrindavan like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Devi, and the gopis treat Krishna as their beloved son or lover. Mother Yashoda accepts him as her son and sometimes binds him to a grinding mortar. Krishna's cowherd boy friends think he's an ordinary boy and get on his shoulders. In Golok Vrindavan, no one has any desire other than to love Krishna. The conclusion is that one cannot associate with Krishna unless he has fully receive the favor of the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi. Therefore, if one wants to be delivered by Krishna directly, he must take to the service of the residents of Vrindavan, who are unalloyed devotees of the Lord. And I've given the secret mantra, okay? That one shlok that every Brahmana is reciting before they enter their temple, right? You're not allowed, you have to do achaman, then you have to recite a series of verses, mantras, then you are allowed. What is the very first mantra you have to chant? Shri Guru Paramananda Premananda Phalaprada. Do you recite this? You don't. Okay. So I'll put your name on the list. Whoever's second, Devahuti, you know all this? All this you don't know. All right, all Brahman Dikshit, right? This is a shame. So we put your name on the list. We'll give you the deity worship book, right? And explain all these mantras. Oh my God, discovery of the day. So now we are on text 24. See, the thing is that deity worship is not just going, so many people want second initiation. Actually, that's why Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is being extremely selective. I just saw his, it was a lecture, something where he said, no, unless you really want to sit down and be a Brahmana, then I give you Brahman Diksha.
But Nati, in India, maybe by this time, if you are in the West, you are actually involved so much into deity worship and going into the altar, deity dressing, that initially, if you don't know, like earlier when I used
They
to
want,
there is a whole
wait.
list of all these mantras that you, even if you do not remember, you have to read it looking at there before you enter the altar. Like there's a bell there, you read it fully.
Yeah.
So every day you read it,
Yeah.
read it.
So how
read
come
it.
you don't know?
Mataji, it's been 10 years now. I'm actually not into the altar. I only do kitchen service and there only the cleaning mantras and
Anyway, you have at home your own deities. All right. I have been pujari in the temple for only 10 years. 30 years I have been worshipping my own deities, right?
So maybe
I'm just saying, right?
We never,
Right?
I have never followed the same protocol for my deities.
It's
I'm
not.
being honest.
See, Prabhupada is telling us the temple is only a place of learning for you to do at home, for you to duplicate at home, right? It's not dual life. It's not that the temple is one life and your temple is a different life. Prabhupada is saying this is the school.
I'm actually reading Kalachandji's this. Kalachandji, we have this. So I'm reading those and I remember, yes, we did have a whole list of this which you have to read.
See, if we go, see the point is this.
But then every day you read that,
See,
wash your feet, read that, ring the bell and then rise up the stairs.
We go to school, right? We go to school to learn something, right? And we come out of the school, we should graduate with whatever we learn from the school. It's not that I leave behind whatever was there in the school. So that's why we are doing all these courses. Right? I mean, see, we come to Bhagavatam and it's all in Bhagavatam. Verse after verse. The deity. Yes, the puja. But we have got Brahman Diksha, right? No, I'm just saying. See, very simple point. Very, very simple, right? If we say women are not supposed to do, right? If we are saying this, basically.
I was thinking that the man who goes for altar deity seva, they have to be, as a woman, we don't have.
Because we are not doing the altar service. So for me, it is not like that. I know these, I have practiced them, I have forgotten. I'm honest.
You know what happens if you forget your Gayatri mantra?
Is that we do every day?
I'm just saying. Right? I'm just saying, right?
So this, yes, this we are not
Right.
doing it every day, so that's why we don't
But
remember.
every day, I'm saying we have our altar at home. There is a method of approaching our own altar. All right. Anyway, be convinced about it. Hmm? If you want your deity seva to be proper, at the time of death, if you want your deity to come for you, this is in 12th canto, right? In the 12th canto. Hmm? So Krishna is giving the process, 11th or 12th canto. Hmm? You, in your own home, you are having the deities. This deity, like we're just reading now, the gopis had their personal Krishna, right? They didn't have to go and check out whether it's Jagannath Mandir, Radha Rasbihari temple, Radha Girdhari temple, Radha Gopinath temple. They didn't have to do all this. The same Krishna expanded himself in each and everybody's, beside each and every gopi, beside each and every worshipper, right? Same way, right? I have my Krishna, you have your Krishna, right? Individual Krishna, same one Krishna, but individual, he has expanded this way, isn't it? So, if we want that deity, 12th or 11th canto, Krishna is explaining, you are worshipping your deity, that deity will come and take you back home, back to Godhead. Same deity, how you have related with him, right? As you said, hope will be alive to come to 11th canto. But read. Hmm? Process of deity worship. Don't make it a joke. Hmm? You've got something precious. You've been given a gift. Why throw it away? Thing is, it was only for the school, right? Huh? Hmm? That's why devotees don't register for our courses, so we know. We don't need to register. Huh? Hmm.
Because हम altar नहीं जाते.
Hare Hari Bol anyway. So now you've heard, okay? But then why do we install deity at home? Yes, but Prabhupada now is coming to show you the proper standard, right? Because everything has fallen apart. You have deities at home? You have deities at home? Hmm. With whose permission? Oh, see, all right. So now you know what we have to do, right? So next year now, how much we have to cry to get devotees to register for our deity worship course. We have to cancel, I have to give back people's money also. And here we are, right? Finally, we had maybe eight students, And then I asked Ramrupa Prabhu what to do. All your pujaris, I'm going to take your time, They have to leave their service to teach. She told me, why disappoint them? It's His mercy. Say, why disappoint them? They have come, let us teach them. Even it's a small group. Right? And so this is all deities. All these prayers, these are deities. Who's Kamdev in this? We just studied now, Kamdev. Huh? Pradyumna in what form? Yeah. This Kamdev is in what form? Who we are worshipping? This Rishikesh is in what form? Kamdev. What form? You remember? Archa Murti. Alright? Lakshmi Devi is worshipping the Archa Murti. Right? And Prabhupada writes in the purport, in this material world, there is only one way that you can contact the Supreme Person Godhead. It is through Archa Murti. And this is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord in matter, but acts spiritually. So your tiny Laddu Gopal, however big or however tiny is what is he? Material acting spiritually. Right? So how will you make him come out, manifest himself? Right? There's method. There is method. That murti that is lying on the counter, dumped everywhere. When you get him, sometime on roadside, is he same as when you put in your house? Right? You should not become atheists, idolaters. How? That's what.
But Mataji is saying that there is a protocol for that.
Protocol? What is the meaning of protocol? You have protocol in dealing with Krishna. Gopis have protocol. That's why Lakshmi Devi couldn't enter, right? Isn't it? So all of you have to register, okay, for DT worship course next year.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं आता है ये एवरी टेंपल में ही सिखाते हैं it's not like from here if you have to go to altar after your second initiation they will give you a full list either you memorize it or every day it's being printed broadly. No, because we don't.
All right, let's go on. Let's do the next one now. All right, so now we have understood, we've heard. So Lakshmi Devi really pushed us, right? Gopis. Difference between Lakshmi Devi and Gopis, right? Huh? So therefore, group leaders are not training. All right? Group leaders are not training. Whoever's, giving Diksha, they are not training. They are not saying. They are not training. So therefore, everybody remains ignorant. As you are saying, we need somebody to cook, so okay, come and cook. But they don't tell you how to be a pujari. And in own home, you have deities. All right, let's continue with this now. Enough shouting. Sorry. So now we are in text 24. Ramyake cha bhagavatah priyatamam matsyam avatara rupam tad varasha purushasya manoprag pradharshitam sa idanim api mahata bhakti yogena radhayatidam chodaharati. Shukdev Goswami continued in Ramyak verse. Where's Ramyak verse? North, yes. Where Vaivastha Manu rules, the Supreme Person of Godhead appeared as Lord Matsya at the end of the last era, the Chakshusha Manvantara. Vaivastha Manu now worship Lord Matsya in pure devotional service and chant the following mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Mukhyatmaya Namaha Sadvaya Pranayojase Sahase Balaya Maha Matsyaya Nama Iti. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person Godhead, whose pure transcendence is the origin of all life, bodily strength, mental power, and sensory ability. Known as Matsyavatar, the gigantic fish incarnation, he appears first among all the incarnations. Again, I offer my obeisances unto him. So this beautiful song, Srila Jayadev Goswami sing, Pralaya payodhi jale dritavan sivedam विहितवहित्रचरितमखेदम् केशवधृत मीनशरीर जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे. Soon after the cosmic creation, the entire universe was inundated with water. At that time, Lord Krishna Keshav incarnated as a gigantic fish to protect the Vedas. Therefore, Manu addresses Lord Matsya as Mukhyatama, the first incarnation to appear. Fish are generally considered a mixture of the modes of ignorance and passion. But we must understand that every incarnation of the Supreme Person Godhead is completely transcendental. There is never any deterioration of the Supreme Lord's original transcendental quality. Therefore, the word Sattvaya is used here, meaning pure goodness on the transcendental platform. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Varaha Murti, the bow form, Kurma Murti, the tortoise form, Hayagriv Murti, the form of a horse, and so on. Yet we should never think of any of them material. They are always situated on the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure transcendence. So the original form of fish is Matsya. Alright, so all Matsya got born seeing the form of Matsya. Alright. Original, just like our body is two-handed human form, copying who? Yeah, copying the two-handed form of Krishna. So similarly, any fish that is born is after the image of Matsya, right? अन्तर्बहिश्चाखिललोकपालके अदृष्टरूपो विचरास्युरुस्वनः स ईश्वरस्त्वं य इदं वसेनयं नाम्ना यथा दारुमहिं नरास्त्रियम्. My dear Lord, just as a puppeteer controls his dancing dolls, so a puppeteer, Akhila Lokapala. Now just listen to this. So many instruction is given here. A puppeteer controls his dancing dolls, and a husband controls his wife. Your Lordship controls all the living entities in the universe, such as Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, and Shudras. Although you are in everyone's heart, are the supreme witness and commander, and are outside everyone as well. The so-called leaders of societies, communities, and countries cannot realize you. Only those who hear the vibration of the Vedic mantras can appreciate you. All right. Okay, read.
Hare Krishna, purport. The Supreme Personality of Goddess is Antarbahi, present within and without everything. One must overcome the delusion caused by the Lord's external energy and realize His presence both externally and internally. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.19, Srimati Kunti Devi explained that Krishna appears in the world nato natya dharo yatha, exactly like an actor dressed as a player. In Bhagavad Gita 18.61, Krishna says, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hridayasi Arjuna tishtati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. O Arjuna, the Lord is situated within everyone's heart and outside as well. Within heart, he is a super soul and incarnation who acts as advisor and witness. Yet, although God is residing within their hearts, foolish people say, I cannot see God. Please show him to me. Everyone is under the control of Supreme Personality of Godhead, exactly like dancing dolls, controlled by the puppeteer or woman controlled by her husband. A woman is compared to a doll, Darumai, because she has no independence. She should always be controlled by a man. Still, due to false prestige, a class of women wants to remain independent. What to speak of women? All living entities are Prakriti, female, and therefore dependent on the Supreme Lord, as Krishna himself explains in Bhagavata, Aparayamitastva Anyam Prakriti Vidhi Me Param. The living entity is never independent. Under all circumstances, he is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. The Lord creates the social division of human society, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and ordains that they follow rules and regulations suited to their particular position. In this way, all members of society remain always under the Supreme Lord's control. Still, some people foolishly deny the existence of God. Self realization means to understand one's subordinate position in relation to the Lord. When one is thus enlightened, he surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is liberated from the clutches of the material energy. In other words, unless one surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord, the material energy in its many varieties will continue to control him. No one in the material world can deny that he is under control. The Supreme Lord Narayan, who is beyond this material existence, controls everyone. The following Vedic mantra confirms this point. Eko hai va Narayana asit. Foolish person think Narayan to be on the platform of ordinary material existence because they do not realize the natural constitution position of the living entity. They concoct names like the Ridra Narayan, Swami Narayan, or Mithya Narayan. However, Narayan is actually the supreme controller of everyone. This understanding is self-realization.
Okay, so what is self-realization? Hmm? Hmm? See, don't speak from the point of view of Krishna. Self-realization is for myself, right? So what is this self-realization? That we are dependent, all right? First thing, that we are dependent. It doesn't matter man or woman, whoever you may be, everybody is dependent, all right? And then second point, that we are dependent and we are subordinate. Simple. All right? So self-realization means to accept that I'm dependent. All right? Such an amazing definition given here. What is self-realization? First thing, to accept that I'm dependent. You know, it's like we feel it's humiliating to be dependent on others, right? I depend on this one, that one, you know, I'm independent. The child wants to be independent. Here Prabhupada said the woman wants to be independent, right? So now, of course, in society they speak of interdependence, right? Interdependence. So, self-realization means to accept that I am dependent, and second, that I'm subordinate, right? This simple acceptance of subordination, meaning that then I'm ready to serve, right? Otherwise, why should I serve? Next text. Yam lokapala kila matsara jvara hitva yatanto pipritak samecha atum na shekur dvipadas chatushpadah sharishripam sthanuryat atra drishyate.
Hare Krishna. Translation. My Lord, when the great leaders of the universe, such as Lord Brahma and other demigods, down to the political leaders of this world, all are envious of your authority. Without your help, however, they could neither separately nor concertedly maintain the innumerable living entities within the universe. You are actually the only maintainer of all human beings, of animals like cows and asses, and of plants, reptiles, birds, mountains, and whatever else is visible within this material world. Purport. It is fashionable for materialistic persons to compete with the power of God. When so called scientists try to manufacture living entities in their laboratories, their only purpose is to defy the talent and the ability of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called illusion. It exists either in the higher planetary systems where great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others reside. In this world, everyone is puffed up with false prestige despite the failure of all his endeavors. When so called philanthropists, who supposedly want to help the poor, are approached by the member of the Krishna consciousness movement, they say, "You are simply wasting your time, while I am feeding vast masses of starving people." Unfortunately, their meager efforts, either singly or together, do not solve anyone's problems. Sometimes so called Swamis are very eager to feed poor people, thinking them to be Daridra Narayan, the Lord's incarnations, as beggars. They prefer to serve the manufactured Daridra Narayan than the original Supreme Narayan. They say, "Don't encourage service to Lord Narayan. It is better to serve the starving people of the world." Unfortunately, such materialists, either singly or combined in the form of United Nations, cannot fulfill their plans. The truth is that the many millions of human beings, animals, birds, and trees, indeed all living entities, are maintained solely by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. One person, the Supreme Lord, is supplying the necessities of life for all other living entities. To challenge the authority of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the business of asuras or demons. Yet sometimes suras or devotees are also bewildered by the illusionary energy and falsely claim to be the maintainer of the entire universe. Such incidents are described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shukadev Goswami tells how Lord Brahma and King Indra became puffed up and were eventually chastised by Krishna.
So now this is Matsya Avatar, right? So this Vaivasta Manu. So his angle of seeing the Supreme Lord is that everybody is competing to become number one, right? Everybody think that they are independent and they can maintain others, right? So uh, here, Manu, he's saying that no, actually, all those who are maintaining others are actually maintained by you. All right, they're maintained by you, right? So if you think that I am feeding the poor and you give a tag to that poor man, you say he's Daridra Narayan. See, sharing is not at all the issue, right? The system of Varnashram is sharing. Entire system of Varnashram is sharing. But to stop the worship of Narayan, and you catch the poor people and say they're Daridra Narayan, and I'm worshipping Narayan by feeding the poor. This is the defect, right? So many concoction has come up. So in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that demons, this is the type of thing they do, but unfortunately, even devotees also, they also become proud and they have to be corrected and chastised, like Lord Brahma and Lord Indra. All right, so we'll continue next week. So, let's do this last because we complete this section. भवन् युगान्तर्नव ऊर्मिमालिनी शोणिम् इमम् ओषधिविरुधनिधिं मया सहोरुक्रमते च ओजसा तस्मै जगत्प्राणगुणात्मने नमः इति. O Almighty Lord, at the end of the millennium, this planet Earth, which is the source of all kinds of herbs, drugs, and trees, was inundated by water and drowned beneath the devastating waves. At that time, you protected me along with the earth and roamed the sea with great speed. O unborn one, you are the actual maintainer of the entire universal creation, and therefore you are the cause of all living entities. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Envious persons cannot appreciate how wonderfully the Lord creates, maintains, and annihilates the universe. But devotees of the Lord can understand this perfectly well. Devotees can see how the Lord is acting behind the wonderful workings of material nature. In Bhagavad Gita 9.10, the Lord says, Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kunteya jagad viparivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. All the wonderful transformations of nature are happening under the superintendence of the Supreme Person Godhead. Envious persons cannot see this, but a devotee, even though very humble and even if uneducated, knows that behind all the activities of nature is the supreme hand of the Supreme Being. All right?
So, Mataji, in the Ramyaka Varsha, this is Sukadev Goswami's prayers to Matsya.
Sukdev Goswami, whose prayer is it?
Vaivasvamanu.
Yes. Shukdev Goswami is relating.
It's narrating.
Narrating, right?
Okay.
For each. So that's why, when I just saw Shukdev Goswami continued on text 29. So I said, complete this section. So we complete Matsya, right? So this is in Ramyak, which is in the north, right? So then we will do next verse next week.
Completed Bhadravash, Harivash, 81, Matsya,
This is Matsya is Ramyak. This is Ramyak, Matsya, Ramyak. Yeah.
and one more we completed.
No, Ilavrita, Bhadraswa, Hari,
Yeah, Ilavrita.
Ramyaka. Now
Yeah.
we will come to Hiranmaya.
Hiranmaya. Yeah. Then Uttar yeah.
Then Bhadras, Hari, then Ketumala, then Ramayaka, now we are Ramayaka, then Hiranmaya, Uttarapuru, Kimpurusha and Bharat.
I'm so happy you're interested to learn all this.
This was so confusing that I literally went home and did my studies because not everything can be done. Here it is in a motion, right? So then one needs to. Where I get interested, Mataji, you don't have to push me. I do it on my own. You were after me to buy this in a dham. You started with Vrindavan. I actually saved money and I bought it at my own.
Okay.
So somewhere I'm listening.
All right.
Because nowadays dhams have also become expensive. It's just not saying dham. You really have to slog hard and save money and then go and buy something.
All right. Hare Krishna. Mamita Mai is watching.